Did you know that females tend to show more interest if you ignore them? Maybe you haven't noticed, but ignoring a woman can have a strong impact on her emotions. It's akin to dropping a metaphorical bomb on her feelings. This phenomenon occurs because women, in general, crave attention, approval, and the feeling of being desired. Consequently, they actively seek out attention. Moreover, women who receive an excessive amount of attention are more prone to behaving disrespectfully. This might involve canceling plans, disregarding others, and developing an inflated sense of pride. Unfortunately, many men today readily provide women with excessive attention and affirmation, which can be a grave error. When a man relinquishes his dominance, the woman gains power. This shift can lead her to lose respect for him. Remember that in each relationship, there is typically a dominant and a submissive partner. If a woman perceives that you are more invested in the relationship than she is, her regard for you might diminish. Similarly, if she thinks she holds a superior position, her interest in you might wane as she already feels secure. However, she is likely to become more interested if you create a sense that she can't easily have you. This dynamic reflects the sometimes harsh reality of human interactions and the hidden psychology behind ignoring a girl. In this video, we will delve into the concealed psychology of ignoring and explore 8 reasons why employing this strategy can drive girls to become more intrigued and captivated by you. Number 1. Women crave validation. In comparison to males, women exhibit a stronger need and longing for approval from masculine figures. Conversely, in order for a healthy dynamic, recognition and confirmation must be earned rather than assumed and treated casually. Lack of earned attention allows women to discern a man's worthiness through his behaviors and reactions in their vicinity. To stand out, one must deviate from the actions of the majority, about 95% of men. To be among the exceptional 5%, a man should refrain from excessive attention and investment until reciprocated, disregarding women who take him for granted and undervalue his efforts. This approach is highly effective for rekindling a woman's attraction and restoring respect in her eyes. There's a potential for her to take offense if you don't initiate communication first, whether through a text or arranging outings. However, this approach is essential. When a woman behaves this way, she aims to transfer responsibility onto you, a skill women are adept at. If this scenario unfolds, it's necessary to redefine the rules and convey that she's welcome to reach out if she wishes to meet, but otherwise, you hold your own interests and commitments. By establishing boundaries around your availability, women will treat you with increased esteem, recognizing your self-worth. Therefore, the focus shifts toward prioritizing yourself. Number 2. Rejection breeds obsession. Rejection acts as the catalyst for obsession, functioning as a form of defense mechanism. Rejection is an unpleasant experience that nobody welcomes, and it's particularly loathed by most women. Their aversion to it is so intense that they would attempt almost anything, even if the strategy isn't effective, to safeguard themselves from it. This arises from the belief that being rejected signifies their inadequacy, not being competent enough to capture men's affections and sustain them over time. Therefore, it's not advisable to adopt a persona of the Mr. Bad Guy instead of the Mr. Nice Guy. However, he either holds a disinterest in pursuing romantic connections in general, or he specifically lacks interest in pursuing one with a particular individual due to a lack of attraction. Nonetheless, despite continual rejection, women find themselves unable to disentangle his image from their thoughts. The more he declines their advances and asserts his lack of desire for a relationship, the more his allure seems to intensify for these women. Number 3. Nice guy attitudes are taken for granted by women. Though not openly acknowledged, this is the reality. Women express a preference for nice guys in words, but the actual inclination tends to be the opposite. The nice guy's curse encapsulates this phenomenon. If you have been excessively considerate to a woman who hasn't earned it, showered her with gifts, shown unwarranted respect, and she now takes you for granted, it's advisable to create some distance and moderately ignore her. The most potent means of reclaiming a man's self-esteem and regard is to demonstrate to a woman that he can detach himself from her and genuinely mean it. This stands as a highly commanding stance in negotiations. In contrast, the majority of men in this predicament won't employ the strategy of ignoring a woman to pique her interest. Instead, they'll increase their communication and kindness. Ignoring a woman serves to reset the relationship dynamic and communicates that you won't tolerate being disrespected. By not allowing room for disrespect, you establish a precedent that prevents it. Maintaining your dignity and self-respect is paramount. In contemporary times, a conspicuous trend is the insatiable need for constant attention exhibited by many women. It has reached a point where women can extract financial gains from men by capitalizing on their attention through platforms like social media, campsites, and services like OnlyFans. Undoubtedly, beta males contribute significantly to exacerbating this scenario. Men frequently expend money and attention on women who haven't earned it. Attention is a resource that men should only extend to women when the latter have demonstrated their own willingness to reciprocate. Number 4. Being ignored hurts women's ego and attracts women. Even though they may put on the appearance of being tough and emotionless, women are often highly sensitive on the inside. They pick up on even the most subtle changes in your attitude. When women are ignored, it causes additional suffering for them. Ignoring a woman has a straightforward psychological basis. Given that nobody enjoys having their attention diverted from them, when you ignore a female, she is more likely to come rushing after you. First and foremost, we need to have a better understanding of the women in question. Ignoring a girl who hasn't noticed you would be a complete and utter waste of time. If, on the other hand, you ignore a lady who has already noticed you or is thinking about you, it will be quite simple for you to grab her attention. Therefore, if you are dealing with your partner, you can trick her into getting her attention by ignoring her, and in the long run, she is bound to notice amidst the happenings in her life. Number 5. Women can do anything to feel desired. There's a valid rationale behind why women appreciate receiving focused attention from their male counterparts. In essence, being acknowledged and esteemed feels gratifying. When a man disregards her, it can give the impression of rejection, potentially triggering self-doubt about her worth. The act of ignoring a woman induces a psychological effect that adds an aura of mystique and fascination around her. Opting to ignore a woman conveys the message that you don't perceive her as attractive or deserving of your time. It might seem paradoxical, but deliberately ignoring her can serve as a remarkably effective strategy to capture a woman's attention. The reason this tactic resonates with her desire to feel desired and valued is precisely why it yields such potent outcomes. Every woman desires to experience a sense of being desired, and by ignoring her, you convey the notion that you find her irresistibly appealing. Consequently, she might feel compelled to actively pursue you. Notably, women relish a satisfying challenge just as much as men do. Consequently, they often eschew the readily attainable and instead gravitate toward endeavors that present a challenge. Number 6. Women associate longing with love. For most women, the feeling of longing is closely intertwined with their experience of love. Many men struggle to grasp this concept, often approaching interactions with women from a perspective based on their own definition of love. The crux lies in the divergence of thought processes between men and women. A woman finds delight not solely in desiring something, but in the very act of yearning itself. The sensation of hoping for a man's contact, the feeling of waking up in the night, yearning to hear an "I miss you" phrase. She believes this sensation encapsulates the essence of love. Observing the world of romantic literature or media with female leads, you'll notice that in those narratives, the female protagonist rarely straightforwardly captures her partner's affection. This is because women often equate longing with love, and at times, they even desire longing more intensely than love itself. Conversely, the dilemma faced by nice guys lies in their tendency to constantly be present for a woman and shower her with unwavering attention. Consequently, the woman doesn't experience the pangs of longing. She hasn't encountered the anticipation of when she might next see him, primarily because he is readily available whenever she seeks his company. By bestowing excessive attention, you inadvertently strip away the experience of longing that she deeply desires. In essence, by offering an excess of attention, you unintentionally deprive her of the very thing she truly craves. Number 7. The psychology of unpredictability. You might find yourself pursuing a woman who exhibits a pattern of alternating between warm and cold behavior. Intrinsic to this behavior is a potent psychological outer. While the mixed signals conveyed by women's hot and cold behavior can be frustrating, their magnetic pull is undeniable, and there's a scientific rationale behind it as well. This dynamic is linked to the psychology of unpredictable rewards. The reason gambling can be so captivating is due to the perpetual uncertainty of whether one will win or lose. The rush of endorphins this uncertainty triggers is remarkably addictive, irrespective of the actual outcome. A comparable principle applies in the realm of dating. Imagine you're in a connection with a woman. There are times when you call, and she responds with enthusiasm, while on other occasions, she appears distant and preoccupied. Furthermore, you never know which version of her you'll encounter when you interact. This unpredictability fuels your desire for her. The same dynamic is at play for women. However, if you consistently treat a woman with indifference and ignore her, her interest is bound to wane over time. Similarly, if your sole focus is on her, she can also lose interest. It necessitates a delicate equilibrium. Continuously question yourself. Am I leaning too heavily in one direction? If you've been lavishing her with excessive attention, aim to cultivate in her a yearning for more of your focus. Thus, this interplay of hot and cold behavior has an addictive quality. In essence, skillfully navigating the fine line between warmth and aloofness becomes a surefire strategy to heighten your attractiveness to women. Number 8. Autonomy can turn on women. Autonomy is one of the most appealing attributes in a guy. It's taking charge of one's own life by filling it with meaningful activities. Sometimes, it's best to just ignore a lady or wait a little while before responding. So in the first stages of a relationship, don't prioritize her above anything else. A man who puts forth intense effort in several aspects of his life at once, including his work and physical health. So instead of sacrificing other plans for ladies, be the guy who says no for the time being. On the other hand, a nice guy constantly worries about losing women, and as a result, he'll drop everything if it means spending more time with the one he likes. As usual, he'll find a way to justify his actions. I'd rather be with her, and I can do the other stuff whenever I choose. But the truth is that it is motivated by fear that has absolutely nothing to do with reality. In fact, she gets more turned on by you when you show your commitment to your goals by not immediately focusing your attention on her. As you continue on your journey of growth, remember to show support by liking and subscribing to these videos. Let's level up in life together. Until next time, keep learning, growing, and applying these principles to become the best version of yourself.